Hi guys! In this video, let's do a shape problem. So the problem is you see a 10 by 10 dots. By connecting 4 dots, you can draw a square. How many squares can you draw with these dots? Let's find out! Okay, so now here, instead of going to 10 by 10 dots at the start, let's start off really small. Let's start off with 2 by 2 dots. So 2 and 2. So if you look here, with these 4 dots, we can only draw one square. So that means only one square. So now let's go with 3 by 3 dots. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Okay. So now here, let's start off small with the 2 by 2 dots. So here, for the 2 by 2 dots, so these are the 2 by 2 dots in this. So here there are 2 rows of it and 2 columns of it. So it's 2 times 2. Now we can only make one square in that square, so times 1. Now let's go with 3 by 3 squares. So here we can make a full square here, but it's 3 by 3, so we're using the whole thing. So that means it must be 1 times 1 times. So here we can make 1, and we can actually make another one that goes like this. So there are 2. So here, 2 times 2 times 1 equals 4, and 1 times 1 times 2 equals 2. So if we add these, it equals 6. So you can make 6 squares. Okay, now let's go with 4 by 4 dot squares. Okay, so here let's start off small with 2 by 2 dot squares. So here we can make 3 rows of it and 3 columns of it. So here we know that if there are 3 rows, there also must be 3 columns. So 3 times 3. So we know we can only make one square out of this. So times 1. Now let's go with 3 by 3 dot squares. So here we can make 1, 2. So here we can make two rows of it, and that means 2 columns of it. So 2 times 2. And let's look back to our old problem. So we can actually make 2 squares in that one square. So we times 2. Now let's go with 4 by 4 dot squares. So we were using the whole square. So that means we do 1 times 1. So here, let's see how many squares we can make in that. So 1, and then 2, and then 3. Okay, so 3. So Now, let's multiply these. So this would equal 9, this would equal 8, and this would equal 3. Now let's add all of them. So this would equal 20. So now, let's go with 5 by 5 dot squares. Okay, so here, let's start off small too. So 2 by 2 dot squares. So we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 columns. So that also means 4 rows. So 4 times 4, and we can only make 1 in those. So now let's go with 3 by 3 dot squares. So I can make 1, 2, 3. So we can make, so that also means 3 columns and 3 rows. And if we look back, we can actually make 2 in those. So 2. Now let's go with 4 by 4 dot squares. So 1, 2. So it'd be 2 times 2. Now if we look back here, we can actually make 3 in those. So times 3. Now let's go with 5 by 5 dot squares. So we're going to be using the whole thing. So that means, so we know it'd be 1 times 1 times. So here we can make 1. And then we can make 2. And then we can make 3. And then we can make 4. So times 4. Okay, so now let's multiply these. So this would equal 16, this would equal 18, and this would equal 12, this would equal 4. So now let's add all of these. So here, it equals 50. So, do you guys notice any patterns in these? Well, I do. So let's look at 3 by 3 dot squares. So do you guys notice anything? So look, both the 2's go down to 2 1's, but the 1 goes up to a 2. Here, the 3's go down to 2, the 1 goes up to 2, the 2's go down to 1, and the 2 goes up to 3. Here, the 4's go down to 3, the 1 goes up to 2, 3's go down to 2, and the 2 goes up to 3, the 2's go down to 1, and the 3 goes up to 4. So that means we actually kind of know what the answer for 10 by 10 dots is. We just have to write down all the multiplication. But if you guys look here, so 3 dot squares, it starts with a 2, 4 dot squares starts with 3, 5 dot squares, it starts with a 4. So here, I'm going to erase the board, and now let's write all the equations for that, for 10 by 10 dot squares. So now, here, we have to, for 10 by 10 dot squares, we're going to need to start with 9. So it would be 9 times 9 times 1, and 8 times 8 times 2. 7 times 7 times 3, 6 times 6 times 4, 5 times 5 times 5, 4 times 4 times 6, 3 times 3 times 7, 2 times 2 times 8, 1 times 1 times 9. Okay, so now let's multiply these. So 9 times 9 times 1 is 81. 8 times 8 times 2 is 128. 7 times 7 times 3 is 147. 6 times 6 times 4 is 144. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. 4 times 4 times 6 is 96. 3 times 3 times 7 is 63. 2 times 2 times 8 is 32. 1 times 1 times 9 is 9. So here, let's add all these. So here, if we add all these, it would equal 825. So that means in 10 by 10 dots, by connecting 4 dots, you can draw 825 squares. So 825 is the answer. Let's do math every day. And don't forget to like this video.